Welcome to Retrobot, the YouTube channel where we feed a friendly space robot a diet of pure nostalgia. I'm Clay, and today we are talking about Transformers Core Class Generation 2 Megatron. Let's take a look. Bam, there is the packaging, and this is, of course, the core class packaging, so you have the cool illustration up top here that's actually very nicely done. I really like the illustrations that they've had for the last several lines. They've done a really nice job with that. On the side, you see an illustration of Megatron in his robot mode, which is very, very blurry. Like just, there we go. So there it is. Looks very good. And then on this side, you have the Legacy Decepticon artwork, which is also very nice. And on the top of the package, you have the Legacy logo. And on the back, you have a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo and some product shots of Megatron in his two modes, both robot and tank. And then, you know, legal mumbo jumbo, and that's enough of the packaging. And here we go. Here is Transformers Legacy Core Class Generation 2 Megatron. He's just a little guy. Core Class is little guys, and I will say that that one thing that I like about Core Class, and this is something people that have seen our live streams have seen Don and I going back and forth, because Don really likes the Core Class. He doesn't have a whole lot of space for displaying toys, and he likes being able to get some of these big name characters in a smaller stature at a smaller price point. And I have to agree with him, that's great. I would much rather see Hasbro do stuff like this, where you get a little tiny Megatron for about $10, but he's got good articulation, he's got a decent transformation scheme, he's got nice colors, as opposed to the official Transformers toys that I've seen in bargain stores like Big Lots or Family Dollar, where it'll be it'll say Transformers on it, and it'll have a character like Optimus Prime or Jetfire or somebody, but it'll be a very, very cheaply designed toy, and it will have bad articulation, and it'll be very hollow. And personally, I feel like that hurts the brand by causing confusion in the marketplace, where people don't know what they're going to get. They get a toy like that, and it comes off looking and feeling cheap, and then they don't know that that maybe the other toys that they see that also are Transformers, that have the same characters, are actually better designs and done with more care. So in that regard, I am in favor of the Core Class, and I see why Don likes these so much. That being said, I don't get as excited about the Core Class. I'm just going to admit it. I don't tend to get as excited about a Core Class character like. And it's funny, because if it's a character that's traditionally small, like Bumblebee or Cliffjumper done in Core Class, then I'm much more interested in that than seeing an Optimus Prime or a Megatron. But it's all good. You know, these toys, they should be for everybody. And I'm glad that there are toys that fit smaller budgets as well as smaller shelf sizes. So let's take a look at Megatron close up, as close as the camera will get it. Let's see, will the camera focus in? Yay! The camera's focusing in. All right. So you've got a really nice head sculpt. He looks good. You've got the green and purple color, and with some silver highlights, and the detail on the mold is actually very nice. The tank detail here in the treads is very nice. You got the Generation 2 Decepticon logo there. You've got the legs, which also have a lot of neat tank detail on them, and some random orange deco here and there. Just little pops of color, which I do think help. For a guy that's mostly green and purple, the little pops of color really do stand out, and they add a nice touch. Fusion cannon looks good. The mold detail doesn't look quite as sharp on the fusion cannon as it does on some of the rest of the parts. I don't know why that is. You know, like you see how crisp the detail is on the treads here, and then the detail is a little bit softer on the fusion cannon. Don't know why. It just is. But there he is in his green and purple color scheme. And now I'm just going to throw out that this is not Generation 2 Megatron. Generation 2 Megatron had a very distinctive body style where his upper torso was the front end of the tank body. And this Megatron is just a repaint of core class Megatron that was, you know, the most recent, I guess this would be Earthrise Megatron. So I've got these two side by side, and let's go ahead and pull the camera back a little bit so that you can see them side by side. I have to say that this version of Megatron I like better. I really like the dark gray and the black. I think that the silver really pops on him. It's a very, very nice color scheme on this little guy. Now, since these are straight up repaints of each other, the things that I like about the actual design of the thing, aside from the colors, are the same on both. So let me get you out of the way, Core Class Megatron, because we're not talking about you. We're talking about him. So for this guy, they've done some cool things here. For one thing, you notice that he's got a little gun here that can plug into his back, and he can hold that. It's a little pistol, a little pew pew. But you know, like Megatron really needs a pistol, he uses a fusion cannon. But yeah, you've got that, and then you plug it into the back, and it kind of is evocative of his Generation 1 look, where he had the gun barrel sticking up behind him, and that's cool. So that's kind of cool. I wish, like, if they were going to call it Gen 2 Megatron, I wish they had made it so that the gun barrel could be on his shoulder this way, because that was another distinctive thing about Gen 2 Megatron. His big cannon wasn't on his arm, it was on his shoulder. But, you know, it is a repaint, so I digress. I digress on that. And you see he's doing a very nice kick. In articulation, his articulation is actually very, very nice. He's got a twist at the head, and that's pretty much it. You're not getting a whole lot of up and down movement. You might be able to, because of the way that he transforms, maybe can you? Nope, you can't. Okay, I'm trying, but it's just not working. I can't get him to look up or down. So yeah, you can get him to nod no. And that's what you can do with the head. You've got pretty good shoulder articulation. His arms come out. His arms go up. There's a lot of stuff around here, so you can't move them all around. But you know what? For such a small guy, it's still very, very nice. And ball joint at the elbow, which gives you a lot of mobility. Fused at the fist, so no articulation there. But again, you've got the same articulation here, and you can rotate the fusion cannon as necessary for the transformation, but it's also good to be able to do it. Also, because of the transformation, you can pull the shoulders out this way too to get a little bit of extra motion there. You don't have to, but you can. We've got a waist pivot, which is nice. We've got ball joints at the legs, so very well articulated hips, and also ball joints at the knees, which gives you some great movement there. No ankle movement whatsoever. He's just sort of molded into a bit of an A stance, which is fine for a character of this size. The articulation is actually really, really good, and And so, yeah, he feels good. His joints are not loosey goosey, and you know, the green and purple is evocative of the Gen 2 color, but I would have liked to have seen them actually do a Gen 2 mold for Megatron. I always was a fan of that body design, and I would have loved to have seen them actually commit a mold to that and do it with today's articulation and technology. That would have been really cool, but they didn't do it, so I guess I have to move on. So transformation will take the little gun out of the back, and then we will, let's see, where do we want to start with this guy? Let's dislodge the shoulders. So we'll just pull these back and out of the way. And then we've got this whole big assembly here. And actually, I have to say that the transformation scheme on the core class Megatron is actually better, in my opinion, than in his larger counterpart. Because it's a lot smoother. And it's a lot easier to do, and it's less obtrusive. I mean, yeah, he's got tank treads on his back here, and in the larger version they fold in, but you know, they're hidden behind the big shoulders, and it doesn't really bother me that he has a lot of tank on his back. Of course, if they had made it go over his head, then maybe he could have had anyway. I'm gonna give up on that. Eventually, I will give up on that. So anyway, you swing that around so that it is in front of the shoulders, and that also allows you to pivot the shoulders backwards. And what we're going to do is we're going to swivel the fusion cannon around that way, and turn the arm so that the fusion cannon is turned inwards. And then we're going to swivel this arm around that way, and you see this nub here. Well, that's going to go right into that hole that's in the side of the fusion cannon. So we're going to put those together, and what that's going to do is turn his arms into a tank turret. There we go. We've got, and then now here's something that's I'm glad that they did this, okay? So you have some pretty obvious robot fist here, and they could have just left it like that, but there's actually a rotating panel that allows you to flip that around and cover up the obvious robot fist. I like that. That's a nice little detail that they could have easily cut for cost, but they didn't. And thank you, Hasbro, for not cutting that cost. It's worth it. So we're going to swivel his waist. There we go. And then we've got the legs. They're on a linkage. So you see how the leg dislocates at the knee and then pivots right around where the ankle is, and then this whole thing swings up. And again, this is a case where I feel like the core class transform is a little bit cleaner than his larger counterpart. And then these just kind of lock in here. And now, let's get a thing. Put a platform there. All right, so focusing on that camera. Darn it, there we go. And so there we go. That is his tank mode mostly. Mostly. We're not quite there. We have to take the gun and we stick the gun in the end. And now he can go pew 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 pew. Or if you prefer, that's more of a than a pew. But you know, he's little, so I tend to go pew with. Also, so yeah, here is his vehicle mode, and he looks like a tank. He's got tank treads. He's now admittedly his tank mode suffers from some big fat robot feet in the back, and the back kind of, you know, it looks like that. Yeah, they really didn't do anything to disguise this. They didn't do anything to disguise the robot feet. He's just got a lot of robot footness happening in the back. The turret, while it does have that panel there that covers the fist, there's a lot of gaps here. It's certainly not a very seamless transform, but in the sense of being the form of a tank, it accomplishes that. You've got treads on the bottom, you've got a turret on the top, and notice this is a turret that rotates, like it rotates all the way around, and that's really cool. And you've got gun elevation. Look at that. Look, he can actually raise his cannon and fire. So that's actually really, really cool from a playability standpoint. Yeah, he may not be the most convincing tank in the world, but he is a very playable tank, and that does count for something. Now, here's something: if you don't like the parts forming aspect, which I'm sure that there are plenty of you out there who don't, what you can do is you can do this. You can actually just put the arms backwards and then leave the fusion cannon facing forward. And sure, it's got a short barrel, but look at that. I mean, that is a very functional tank mode, and it's really not any less convincing than it was before. Yeah, if you look straight down, there's still some gapness here, but actually having all of this stuff for these shoulders that was the front of the turret, when they're in the back, they kind of cover up some of the sins that are happening in the back of the tank mode. So that actually doesn't look bad. And again, you've got a tank turret that elevates, and now this is definitely not a pew pew. This is a I mean, look at the size of that hole. I mean, that's delivering that is a cannon blast. That's going to deliver a 100mm shell or a giant cannon of laser and energy and destructive power and stuff. So that's actually very cool, and it's nice that if you do end up losing this piece, that you can still have a perfectly playable Megatron that has a completely acceptable tank mode, regardless of whether you stick the little gun barrel in the end or not. So yeah, that is Core Class Transformers Legacy Generation 2 era Megatron. And I'm not in love with him, but I do like him. I think that especially if you like the core class characters, and if you like the core class in general, especially where they're having these premium characters done at smaller sizes, then you probably want this. He's got a great robot mode, and certainly, like, if you missed out on this one, which has all of the same advantages and disadvantages of this one, and if you are a fan of the Generation 2 line, you like the green and purple look, then you'll be happy with this guy. If you're looking for something that is super seamless, and when he turns into a tank, he looks as good as Warpath typically looks when he's a tank. He doesn't. He doesn't. But there's certainly plenty to like. And here's the other thing. This is a $10 price point. It's not a big investment. I feel like I get my $10 worth of happy out of this toy, and really that's what it's all about. In fact, I dare say that I get a better happy per dollar value out of this one than I do out of his larger counterpart, which is more detailed and has very good posability and a more complicated transform, but also has his own sets of issues that maybe I should talk about sometime. I've never actually done a review of this toy. Maybe I have to correct that. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. So anyway, yeah. That's my review. If you like this review, then please give it a thumbs up. Consider joining the or subscribing to the channel, and click the notification bell if you do, so that you will know when we do more of these short circuits videos. Those are shorter format videos for your viewing pleasure. Also, you will know when we're doing our live streams, which typically happen every Friday night at 8:00 p.m. Eastern United States time. Join the chat. It'll be fun. We will toast you and welcome you, because that's the kind of people that we are here at Retrobot. Also, if you are in a position to help the channel grow, consider joining our Patreon. We have different levels for different levels of commitment with different rewards as our way of saying thank you. Thank you very much for your support. And with that being said, we have a very special guest here to thank our patrons. That's right, it is the Chaos Bringer himself, Unicron.
Thank you, patrons, our ultimate retro heroes. Thank you, Fetchbeer, Robes, Matt White, Storehound, Setsune Wave, Dawn, Hope and Michael D, and Colleen. Thank you. And now, I have recently discovered a delicacy known throughout the galaxy as Oreo cookies. It seems to be a chocolatey cookie with a creamy white center. I was thinking I could approximate this by cutting Pluto in half and squidging your moon in as cream filling. Would anybody mind if I do that? I think it's a good idea. Help me make an Oreo. Pluto is the chocolate. Your moon is white. Pluto's probably not brown, but I'm going for a thing here. Don't question it.
Well, thank you for that, Unicron. Whatever that was, I don't even know anymore. So yeah, Transformers Legacy, Generation 2 Megatron. He's a little dude, $10. You know, he's all right. He's not my favorite, but he's all right. That's the final verdict. So, this is Clay telling you to keep it Retrobot. Yeah. Transformers Generation 2 Core Class Megatron. Transformers Legacy Core Class Generation 2 Megatron, although it's not really Generation 2, it's just Earthrise Megatron or Kingdom Megatron repainted in green and purple. But you know, they're doing a thing. and they're calling it Generation 2. It sort of is, but not completely. They're not committed to it. They're just not committed to it. You know? I kind of wish they were committed to it.